And welcome to Technology Tab. I'm Professor JRod. In this episode, we're going to talk about more Security Plus, Chapter 1, Part 2. All right, welcome back. So one of the reasons why I decided to start with Security Plus, and not with A Plus, because I think Security Plus is a little bit different from all the other exams. I actually think out of the trifecta, as far as easy order, is A Plus, of course. Security Plus, I think, is second, and Network Plus, I think, is actually harder. I think Security Plus, if you know, it's a lot of definitions, and if you know the definitions, you get the answer. Plus, I think I find it easier is because it's easier in a sense, but if you take it in the order, right? If you take A Plus, Network Plus, and Security Plus, by the time you get to Security Plus, you're gonna find it that it wasn't as hard as Network Plus, I believe, because a lot of the information that you get from A Plus and Network Plus, it's already in Security Plus or it's assumed that you know it. So those of you who want to take a certification exam for IT and want to jump straight into Security Plus, I'm telling you, I've only seen one guy out of almost 10 years that I've been doing this pass who did not know anything about computers. Like he walked in cold. Right? It's an exam that it makes it a lot easier if you know your stuff. So if you take an A Plus and Network Plus, this exam is a lot easier rather than coming in from the cold. I used to work for someone. He's actually pretty famous on YouTube and LinkedIn and all that stuff. And I used to teach classes for him, and I would tell him, like, the people who sign up for Security Plus, what do I do? Because a lot of them don't seem to know what they're doing. He would say, well, the class I think was like from 10 to 6. So he goes, at 1 o'clock, talk to them and see if they want, if they find it too hard, then he says, I could always switch them to the A Plus class. He was really, really good about that. And I would tell, sometimes at 1 o'clock, I would grab a couple of students and I would say, hey, I think this class is a little bit too hard for you. Why don't you go to the A Plus class and start from there? Because, a lot of these people, they want to change their careers, right? And they get recommendations. I remember one guy, he was like, well, my brother-in-law told me to take this class, but he didn't know anything about computers. And it's like a different language, right? By the time you get to Security Plus, if you don't know anything about IT, they're not going to teach you, about hardware. They're not going to teach you the port numbers. That's not on this exam. You should already know that by the time that you're here. That's the assumption that they make, that CompTIA makes. So, but I think it's a lot easier if you've gone through the first two. It makes it a lot easier, and I find this one to be a lot of definitions. So if it's if you know the definitions, you know the answer. All right. So we were doing chapter 1. So we're in part 2. We're going to talk about security control configuration categories. Security controls are safeguards or countermeasures used to reduce risk and protect information systems. They are categorized based on their function, implementation type, and objectives. Control functions. There are 5 functional categories of security controls. They are preventive, detective, corrective, deterrent, and compensating. And we'll as we go down, I'll give you like examples of each. Preventive stops an incident from occurring. Detective identifies and alerts when incidents occur. Corrective remediates or restores after an incident. Deterrent discourage attacks through fear or awareness. And compensating alternative control when the primary control is not feasible. Control types by implementation. These are how the controls are implemented. They're administrative, technical, and physical. Administrative, sometimes called managerial. Policies, procedures, trainings, and risk assessments. Technical, enforced by hardware, software. or sometimes known as logical, and physical, tangible protections. So examples of controls by category. Preventive is firewalls, access control, encryption. Detective is IDS, IPS, CCTV, audit logs. Corrective, patch management, backups. Deterrent, security awareness posters, and guards. Compensating, manual review with automated control is missing. And a better example of that is like using MFA when biometrics is not working. All right, you compensating. So security functions are grouped by their functional purpose, what they're designed to do with an information security system. So preventive control, the goal for preventive control is to stop security incidents before they happen. So what do we use? We use firewalls, ACLs, security policy, user authentication, encryption, antivirus, physical locks, and secure doors. Detective controls, their goal is to identify security incidents when they occur. And they use intrusion detection system, security information and event management, audit logs and monitoring, surveillance cameras, file integrity monitoring, motion detectors. Corrective controls, the goal is to fix or restore systems after a security incident has happened. Example, patch management, antivirus quarantine, backup and recovery, incident response procedures, system re-imaging, reboot script or automated repairs. Deterrent controls, the goal is to discourage attackers or inappropriate behavior through warning and awareness. Example, warning banners, right? You get those like, oh, this, through emails, and you get them through, like, if you log into somebody else's system, right? If you log into the irs.gov, you get a warning saying that, hey, this is a government website, right? That's the kind of warning banner they're talking about. Security awareness training, which is important for everybody. Surveillance signs when you walk in someplace. Legal and HR policies. And then visual security measures, guards, and cameras. Compensating control, goal is substitute for primary control that is not feasible or has failed. Example, like I gave you, multi-factor authentication when biometric login is unavailable. Manual review processes in place of automated scanning. Network segmentation if encryption is not yet implemented. And jump box used instead of direct administration access. There is what they call a sixth type of security control that it's often overlooked, and it's called directive control. Directive controls are designed to guide, influence, or encourage secure behavior. They don't prevent or detect threats directly, but establish expectations and provide direction on how users and systems should behave. They are typically policy-based or behavioral and form the foundation of broader security. The purpose of directive control is to promote desired security behavior, establish a security mindset across an organization, lay the groundwork for other controls, and often paired with administrative controls. Examples of direct controls is acceptable use policy, code of conduct, security training programs, posters and reminders, management directives, and standard operating procedures. So directive controls are proactive and behavioral. They rely on policy, awareness, and leadership. They help enforce the security culture of our organizations. Now we're going to talk about information security roles and responsibilities. In any organization, protecting information assets require clearly defined roles and responsibilities. These roles help ensure accountability, compliance, and effective risk management across technical and non-technical teams. Start off with the Chief Information Security Officer. The defined overall security strategy and vision reports to executive leadership, CIO, CEO, or board. Oversee risk management, compliance, and incident response, and align security with business goals. Next, we have the Information Security Manager. This person implements security policies and procedures, manages security staff and day-to-day operations, coordinates incident response and audits, and monitors compliance with whatever standard you're using, right? NIST, HIPAA, FERPA, right? Security analysis, they analyze logs, alerts. They monitor system, SEMI and IDS IPS systems, investigates incidents and supports incident response, conducts vulnerability assessments, and report findings. Security engineer, they design secure networks and system architecture. They configure firewalls, VPN, IDS, IPS, and access control. They implement encryption and endpoint protection. They work on secure development lifecycle. Then you have your system administrator, IT staff, implements technical security controls, patches systems, and maintains access control, supports backup and disaster recovery processes, follows security procedures and enforce policies. Next, you have your data owner. Data owner determines data classification and access level, improves access requests and data sharing, ensures compliance with legal and business requirements. Data custodian maintains and protects data on behalf of the owner, backs up data, applies encryption, maintains logs, and ensures data integrity and availability. End user follows security policies, completes security awareness training, reports suspicious activity or incident, and use system in a responsible or secure manner. And then you have your incident response team, responds to security incidents, perform root cause analysis and containment, coordinates with legal, PR, and law enforcement as needed, documents incidents for future prevention and audits. Right? So there you have it. You have your CISO, security manager, security analyst, security engineer, system admin, IT staff, data owner, data custodian, end user, incident response team. System admin and IT staff, they're together if you're taking notes. Information security competencies refers to the skills, knowledge, and abilities required to effectively protect an organization's data, systems, and networks. These competencies span technical, managerial, and behavioral domains that are essential for building a robust cybersecurity workforce. Core competency domains. One is technical competencies. These involve hand-on skills and technical knowledge to implement and manage security systems. Right? You need to know cryptology, network security, endpoint security, cloud security, identity and access management. Managerial strategic competencies. These involve planning, oversight, compliance, and aligning security with business needs. Skill areas: risk management, policy development, business continuity, vendor risk management. Then you have behavioral soft competencies. These are essential for teamwork, communications, ethics, and leadership in a security role. Communication skills, ethical decision making, and analytical thinking, continuous learning, collaboration and teamwork, and attention to detail. So these are a lot of these things that I kind of try to teach in my classes. I always tell my students that the overall umbrella of IT is communications, right? You know, it's part of the communication network, IT. It falls under that umbrella of communications. And you have to learn how to be a good communicator. If you cannot be a good communicator, it's not going to work. And one of my first real job that I got as an adult, my old boss, he drilled that into me so much that I still carry that to this day. Like, he just would say just constantly that, oh, you got to communicate. And he would tell me, you know, if you don't understand something, I'd rather explain it to you 5 times than explain it to you once, you walk away, you don't understand, and you do it wrong. So he says, he goes, I would never yell at you if you tell me, if I explain something to you and you come back and you say, I didn't understand that, can you explain it again? Because I want you to do it right the first time. And I want you to walk away knowing that I understand what he wants me to do. So I always appreciate that for him. Probably more now than I did when I worked there. I was a kid, so, you know, what did I know? So, but I appreciate a lot of the stuff that he told me. Unfortunately, he passed, but, you know, I still remember him. All right, how do you build these competencies? You take certifications exams, lab and simulations, training and boot camps, mentorship and internship, and continuous education. Let's see. Key information security responsibilities. Of course, everybody in IT or security has to know at least some level of this: risk assessments, access control, user privilege, auditing logs, etc., etc. Next, we have information security business units. In a modern organization, InfoSec is not the responsibility of a single team. It spans multiple business units that collaborate to protect systems, data, and operations. Each unit plays a unique role in enforcing confidentiality, integrity, and availability across the enterprise. First is we're going to talk about information security. They manage all security technologies and policies. They're responsible for risk management, incident response, security operations, vulnerability assessments, penetration testing, security policies, framework, compliance oversight. Next, we have IT network operations. Their core functions maintain network technology infrastructure, and they're responsible for implementing and managing security controls, patch management, system hardening, backup and recovery procedures. Then we have compliance, legal, and audit. Core function: ensure regulatory and legal adherence. Responsibilities: they interpret laws like HIPAA, GDPR, PCI DSS, and SOC. They manage security audits, ensure documentation, and they address data breaches from a legal standpoint. Human resources: core functions: manage employees' lifecycle and conduct. Responsibilities: enforce security-related policies, coordinate security training and awareness programs, handle insider threat and investigations in partnership with Infotech. Finance: their core functions is budgeting and procurement. They're responsible for funding security tools and personnel, manage vendor risk and financial fraud prevention, and align investment with security priorities. Executive leadership: the C-suite or the board. Their core function is strategic oversight. Their responsibilities is to set the tone for security culture, approve security budgets and framework, and assess enterprise risk and support compliance programs. Next is the business continuity team. Core responsibility is make sure that they do whatever they have to do to keep the business up and running. Responsibilities is develop and test business continuity and recovery plans, coordinate with IT and InfoSec during outages or incidents, ensure mission critical services can be restored quickly. Next is the training and awareness unit. Core function is foster security culture, and they're responsible for develop user awareness programs, communicate incidents, procedures, and policy changes, and coordinate simulations. And there's a lot of cross-functioning collaboration, right? For incident response, you need the Infotech team, IT, legal, HR, communication. For risk management, you need InfoSec, executive, compliance, and finance. For security, you need HR training, InfoSec, and communications. And for vendor risk management, you need procurement, legal, and InfoSec. So how they work together: they continuous monitoring and detecting, they develop secure code development, response to cyber attacks, and their root cause analysis recovery. They all work as a team. So this is very important that you have some kind of strategy or hierarchy to deal with and break up your stuff into teams. And these are not all like IT people, right? HR is not IT. Sometimes compliance is not IT. Obviously, legal is not IT. So it's more than just finance is not IT, right? It's more than just IT people when you have to think of these kind of teams that you're building or you're putting together. So they don't necessarily have to be IT centric. All right, now that we've gone through it, let's go over some questions. Right, security control questions. So here's going to be the first one, and I'll put these on TikTok. That way you can. Some people are visual people, so I'll put it on TikTok. It's at Professor JRod. That's JRod. And you got to, Professor PROFESSOR JRod. Look for that on TikTok. And you will find me there with these same questions. All right, number one, a company requires all employees to attend annual Cybersecurity awareness training. Which type of security controls does this represent? A, technical and preventive. B, administrative and deterrent. C, administrative and preventive. D, physical and detective. Company requires all employees to attend annual cybersecurity awareness training. Which type of security controls does this represent? A, technical and preventive. B, administrative and deterrent. C, administrative and preventive. D, physical and detective. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it. And the answer is C, administrative and preventive, right? The administrative side is, again, a company requires all employees to attend annual cybersecurity training. So on the administrative side, they plan all that. And it's to prevent people from clicking on stuff that they shouldn't be clicking on, right? Next, preventive versus detective. An IDS, intrusion detection system, is deployed in a data center to monitor and alert on suspicious network traffic. What type of control is this? A, technical and preventive. B, technical and detective. C, administrative and corrective. And D, physical and deterrent. Again, an IDS is deployed in a data center to monitor and alert on suspicious network traffic. What type of control is this? A, technical and preventive. B, technical and detective. C, administrative and corrective. D, physical and deterrent. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. And the answer is, what do you think the answer is, guys? Those of you who are smart out there. The answer is technical and detective. Right? That's number 2. Number 3, after a malware outbreak and organizations using known cleanup backups to restore effective systems. This is an example of A, technical corrective. B, administrative detective. C, physical preventive. D, technical compensating. After malware outbreak, an organization uses known clean backups to restore effective systems. This is an example of A, technical corrective. B, administrative detective. C, physical preventive. D, technical and compensating. And the answer is A, technical and corrective, right? Corrective is, you're fixing what's broken. So you're correcting the problem. All right, next, in a legacy application does not support multi-factor authentication. To mitigate the risk, the security team implements strict network segmentations and additional monitoring. This is an example of A, compensating. B, detective. C, preventive. D, deterrent. A legacy application does not support multi-factor authentication. To mitigate the risk, the security team implements strict network segmentations and additional monitoring. This is an example of A, compensating. B, detective. C, preventive. D, deterrent. Give you a couple of seconds. And the answer is compensating, right? You're compensating something for something else. All right, last one. A company installs man traps, bad badge readers, and security guards at data center entrance. These are best described as administrative controls, physical preventive controls, technical corrective controls, physical detective controls. A company installs man traps, bad badge readers, and security guards at data center. They're best described as administrative controls, physical preventive controls, technical corrective controls, or physical detective controls. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. And the answer is B, physical and preventive controls, right? They're preventing people from doing stuff that they're not supposed to, do, right? They don't want to get themselves in trouble. So they put the man trap in there, which has been replaced, right? They call man trap something else. On the path? No, that's man in the middle. I forgot, but they changed the word for man trap. So you may not see it anymore on the CompTIA. I don't know. Forgot what it was, but it's not man trap anymore. It's on the path. No, on the path is man in the middle. On the path attack. So anyway, yep. But hope you got it right. If you got 5 out of 5, pat yourself on the back. You're almost ready to tackle chapter 1. So that's going to do it, guys, for chapter 1. We are done, and next time we're going to start on chapter 2. Like I said, I think there's 16 chapters. There are 16 chapters in this series in the slides that I got from Swordmaster, and I kind of just put them together as notes. And yeah, hope you like it, and we'll see you next time.